Well, hello and okay. Welcome. This is the BFTAA and More Show. I am your host, Louis George Walker, coming to you live and in living color from KUAW Radio Studios in our auxiliary location. And we're having just a good time today. Glad you were able to join. Little bit of things going on and a couple of things that we'll let you know that we're still working on that we were going to have done. So we didn't get everything done that we wanted done, but that's all right. We're going to start this show off by letting you know that this is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association's project in cooperation with the W.E.B. Du Bois Learning Center, and it is called Knowledge, Understanding, and a Wisdom Radio. So we're coming to you live. We should say Knowledge, Understanding, and Wisdom Media because we're on the air and we are live where you can see us. So this is our media production right now. And you can pick us up on Facebook. Well, we'll be back on Facebook around the first of the year. We've had a problem with them, but we're getting that ironed out, and we'll be back on there. But we're on YouTube right now. We're working to get on TikTok so that we'll be able to broadcast from there. And we've got some equipment to get some things to do. But you can pick us up there. You can also pick us up on the audio only side where we play music and some of these live shows. So you can pick up KUAW Radio on Get Me Radio, on the TuneIn app, on the online radio bot, on Radio Garden. You can also go to our website, which is kuaw.org. And we have another website, BFTAA.org. That one we're not broadcasting, but it does link over to our KUAW page. So there's a lot of ways to pick us up. We're also coming over on your smart speaker. So if you have a Google or Amazon or some smart speaker that you can talk to, tell it to play KUAW radio and we'll come up on that. So we're just glad to be getting out and about in the world as best we can, you know. But hopefully you enjoy this and you'll keep listening and watching. We have shows on the weekend. We broadcast 24 hours a day. We have music. We have old school. We have some jazz and blues that goes on. So listen to KUAW Radio and tell a friend about it. It'll be a good thing for everybody to enjoy. So as we get ready to get started, we want to start with a little bit of news. So I'm going to go into the UNN news for today, which is broadcast over our airways. So let's check out what's going on with the UNN news.
This is UNN Urban Network News, national news and information for and about people of color. I'm Alexander Caden. Multiple historically black colleges and universities were on lockdown last week after receiving potential threats, including Alabama State, Virginia State, Hampton University, Southern, also Clark Atlanta University in Georgia. Spelman College, located near Clark Atlanta University, also implemented shelter-in-place protocols as a precautionary measure due to its proximity. Lisa Cook, the first and only black woman who was the Federal Reserve Governor, turned over her bank records, and the bank documents appeared to contradict the Trump administration's mortgage fraud allegations against her. A modern-day fight for voting rights is escalating in states across the country as Republican-led efforts to redraw congressional maps target black and Latino voters to maintain President Trump's control of Congress in 2027. If successful, several black members of Congress could lose their seats in the process. Memphis, Tennessee has made the list of cities that the president has announced he's sending the National Guard to. A 22-year-old Utah man is in custody in the shooting of conservative advocate Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, and officials cleared a building at the U.S. Naval Academy in Maryland following reports of threats and one person being injured. The Brazilian Supreme Court panel sentenced a far-right former president to more than 27 years in prison for plotting to kill the Brazilian president. You've been listening to UNN Urban Network News, national news and information for and about people of color.
All right. So that is the UNN urban national news that we broadcast to you every week when we're on here. And you can listen to it every day. So it's a daily news program from Monday through Friday. And you can check it out every day on a excuse me, on our audio side, which is KUAW radio. It comes on during the BJ Murphy show that runs from 12 until 3 o'clock. So if you want to catch the UNN news, go to KUAW radio between 12 and 3 while the BJ Murphy show is on, and you'll get that news and information daily. So it was on earlier today, but I put it on in my show for those of you that may have missed it. So, what I've been wanting to work on and bring to you is some more information about AI. And we don't have a program, a whole show set up that we can do about AI yet, but I want to get to working on that because that is a very important topic at this time. There are more and more people that are being concerned about their jobs being taken away by AI. I actually, one of our coaches on our robotics team said they had some layoffs in the last couple of weeks, and it was primarily due to AI taking over some of the jobs there. And it's basically that what people are doing. I mean, it doesn't just come and take over a job, but if what you were doing, and in this case, some of it was writing code, but some of the basics of writing code or the initial writing of code that was maybe done by the entry level programmers can now be done by AI, and they just need the more experienced programmers to check and retest what they wanted it to do. But the actual writing of the code initially is being done by AI. So we want to get a little bit more into that. It's the same way with photos, with voice replication and stuff. AI is being able to do a lot more than just chat GPT or writing things. It can actually program voices and make clones of voices. It does art, it does pictures, it does a lot of things that basically people were able to do. Some of it is more intense and it can't do the fine details, but that's just a yet right now because it's constantly learning and constantly getting better. So AI, we still have to have a good conversation about what it is, how it works, what is it going to supplant in the job field. Our robotics teams, one of our coaches had a question. He says, well, I wonder how much they're going to let the students use AI in programming our robots and stuff, because that's part of their learning as they go into the robotics competition is to learn how to program, control, and stuff. And so far, the governing body of the robotics competition says it's okay for students to use AI in what they're doing in their programming. So they're learning AI now, and in a way, it makes sense because it's like, yeah, some of the purists in coding say, well, they need to learn how to code. At the same time, there are people that know how to code that are losing jobs to AI. So maybe you need to know how to work AI along with knowing how to code. That they're not mutually exclusive of each other. That you may need to be able to be proficient with AI and know some coding. So right now, the robotics team that we have, they can use AI as we give them the product. But at the same time, they do have to tell AI what they want. They do have to test it. They do have to run with it. They may have to get bugs out of it. We just started a couple of weeks ago. Well, they had their second meeting Saturday. So it's early on and they haven't started programming just yet, but that's something that is coming up. So we're getting involved in AI, working with the young people right now. And that's something that we've got to work out. So we got to look at how are teachers handling this AI revolution that's coming on. I mean, it's just like the computer and the internet were revolutionary when they first came, and people didn't know how they were going to be used and what it was going to do. And now it's almost that you can't live without the internet. That we do everything with it. So is AI going to? It's definitely not going away. So I think if people think that, well, we just can turn it all off, I don't see that happening. That's not going to happen. So now, how do we deal with it when it's here? How do we say this is what we wanted to do, or this is where we wanted to stay, or who's going to be looking after it, who's going to be working with it, what's the oversight of AI? because to say you don't want AI is like saying that you really don't want cars when the horse and buggy was doing good, and it was like, yeah, you can still use the horse and buggy, but the cars are coming, and they're coming, and you know that's it. So it's like once the technology is here, I don't know. You guys write in and let me know of a technology that came along that people didn't want it anymore after they were using it, and it went away. That you know it wasn't replaced by anything, but they just said no, we're not going to do that, and they stopped doing it. Because most technology that I can think of, but I know I'm not the one that can think of everything going on. But you know, if once it's there, it's like letting the genie out of the bottle. It's there. We've got to work with it now. It's among us. So we have AI. I mean, it's just like we have the internet or we have robotics. They're here. So how are we going to work with it? You know, people were complaining about robots taking jobs back in the 70s and 80s at General Motors and Ford and a lot of the car manufacturers, but the robots are still there at the car manufacturing plant. It's not totally automated, but there are robots working along with humans in the building as we're building most of our cars today. So, did it take some jobs? Probably yes. Is it doing things better? Are we more efficient? Yes. Are there still a lot of jobs in the auto industry for humans? Yes. So, you know, we have to look at all of that to decide, you know, is it good or bad? And if we wouldn't have changed and started bringing in robotics, would we be even more behind other countries that did, such as Japan and China and over in Europe? If they kept using the robots to make theirs, could we survive without doing it? Or do we put walls up and say we don't want to change? We're going to keep it the same. And that's a hard way to live. That's like the Great Wall of China or something. You can't wall yourself off from the rest of the world because then you may find that the rest of the world moves on past you and you fall behind. So it's interesting. We're going to work with it. So stay tuned. I want to have a more comprehensive discussion about AI. There's some videos and a couple of workshops that are online that I'm looking to attend and get a little better knowledge myself about the possibilities of AI and the uses for it, and maybe some of the things to be cautious of with AI. So yeah, we're not saying that it is the end all and it's the best thing that ever came along, but I think we're going to have to figure out how to work with it, how it's going to be in our lives. So stay tuned. One of the things I was telling you, or just was saying, is that we've got our robotics team going. And this is a fun group of young people. I'm going to bring up a little video and have, not video, but some of the pictures from our students on their first day in robotics. And the parents we let them join in, or they could stay and watch and see what their child, their student's going to be doing. All right. So we have robotics, and this year, last year, or the last couple of years, we were strictly a Lego robotics team. But this year, we have a couple of students that have gotten older, and we're wanting to take them to the next level. So not only will we be doing uh, Lego robotics, we'll also be doing VEX robotics, which is a program for middle schoolers and high schoolers. Our Lego robots is for our elementary school students. So it doesn't look like my slideshow's wanting to work or change for some reason. Let me see if I set it up right. I thought it did. Oh, no, it's not. Okay. I see what's going on here. Yeah. There you go. Okay. So these are our students. Those are a couple of the older students that you're looking at in the forefront there that are going to be working with the VEX robot program. So they're moving up. Instead of Legos, they're going to do something a little more challenging, especially on the mechanical and building side. So we've got they were modeling there using the Lego as to build models and to see how things will work. But they're going to be moving into, let me get this other, oh, I got that off. They're going to be moving into the pure Vex product. And that's what we started out was with Vex program. We're working with middle school and high school students. So the last couple of years after COVID, we've been trying to recruit back a lot of high school students because a lot of the ones we had ended up graduating and stuff. So we've got to go out and find a new crop. So we're working on doing that. And we like to grow some up. So some of these young people that you see in there now are going to be the ones that will be working from Lego into Vex. So there's a robot or a chassis that they were working on. This were the older kids. These are young people. We work with students from 9 to 18 years old. So we can take them in robotics in all of those different age groups. And that's what we like to do so that we can get the kids in, get them learning, get them busy, get them working, and, handling the robots. We also could use any more volunteers. As an adult, if you would like to help out with the robotics and do a little bit of hands-on work yourself, we would appreciate it. We can always use another hand in on our robotics classes. Yeah, there's the parents were sitting there on the side in the background, and they were getting explained as to what was going on, what they were going to be seeing, what their students were going to be doing. So we're glad to have the young people in there working with us. So we're going to be showing you more of how they're moving through the robotics program. As we week by week, you'll see a little more progress of what they're working on, how they've been learning, what they've been doing, and you'll see the progress of this robotics program and these robotics young people. So stay tuned to KUAW Radio and the BFTAA and More show. I come on here every Monday at 5 o'clock and we'll bring you different information that we have going on. So we'll update you on what the robotics team is. We're also going to let you know, not right now, but they're registering for the tournament. So we'll be able to let you know the date and the location of the tournament that they get selected to be in. So if you want to follow our kids and show up on tournament day and support them, we would love to have you come out because the public is definitely involved, or yeah, we want to have involved. It takes a village out here. So we want you to follow this team, follow these young people, and come out and support them when they go out there to do a competition. So we're just glad to be able to work with them. We also would love to have donations from the public. We are a 501c3 nonprofit, so we are any donations made to BFTAA is totally tax deductible according to the limits of the law. So you have to talk to your tax accountant to be sure about that. But we are a 501c3 nonprofit. We live and work by donations and in kind support. So if you want to make a donation to the Black Family Technology Awareness Association, you can go to our website. That's at bftaa.org. There's a donation button there. You can also go to our YouTube page or our Facebook page for BFTAA, the Black Family Technology Awareness Association. And there's a donate button on that page. So you can make a donation from your credit card or your debit card right there to our PayPal account. You can also do that online. So, and we're going to have the QR code posted up here so you can do that right from your phone and make transfers in because we need donations of all sizes. If you want to donate $5 or if you would like to donate $500, we would love to have it because that's how we buy the equipment that we need, that the lunches for the kids, the robot equipment, our tablets and computers and different things that get us through a year. It's not super expensive, but it takes us a year of running through and keeping everything up to staff, as if we want to stay up to date with the technology. And I have to admit, sometimes we fall behind a little bit. We're not always able to have the latest and the greatest, but that's okay because the kids are still learning. We're still working with them. But we'd love for all of them to have a tablet that they can use so they can save their work on it, even if they don't take those tablets home or if they do take them home and bring them back. but we spent maybe $6,000 to $7,000 a year on that. We've been able to get an in-kind contribution to help as far as our venue location, but that is another thing, is that we have to keep the lights on and pay the rent and those type of things. So we want to be able to support ourselves, and we ask that the public would help support us. So if you want to know more about how to give, contact us. Go to our Facebook page, or you can email BFTAA at sbcglobal.net. That's B as in boy, F as in Frank, T as in Tom, A as in Apple. So BFTAA org, or BFTAA at sbcglobal.net is a way that you can mail to us. BFTAA at sbcglobal.net. You can go to our website, bftaa.org, and you can go to the Facebook page, which is the Black Family Technology Awareness Association dash BFTAA. So we're there. We're on LinkedIn. Just go into your Google or your Bing or Siri or whatever you use and type in BFTAA and look for the Black Family Technology Awareness Association to pop up. And we'll be glad to have you. We're fighting right now with the bank, as technology minded as we are. I have to say that the last couple of weeks have been trying because our bank account got hacked, and we've been really working with that to try and uh, get better security up on that. And we have to replace some funds that were lost or maybe lost. We're trying to get them all back. We got some of them back, but that's the hazards of doing business in today's world. So we're building up more security. The computers that we use for our KUAW radio, we have three computers, mainly two. We have a third one, which isn't absolutely essential to the radio broadcast or to this broadcast, but we have two computers, and both of them were donated to us, but at a time before the new chips that Intel has the security stuff in to work, so they can't be upgraded to Windows 11. So in just a month, we're going to have to buy a couple of new computers to change over from Windows 10 to computers that can handle Windows 11. That's going to be an outlay. I'm looking at how we can do it with the least amount of costs, and most of the time we try to get a refurbished computer for that. And we're going to look into that. If we can get a couple of refurbished computers capable of handling Windows 11, we'll be going up on that. So that's another expense that, thanks to everything moving faster and faster, it happens. We were donated these computers, and it was a great donation. The company, back when COVID was just starting, they were switching their employees to go home, so they got rid of all their desktop computers, and we got them. So we've had them for about right about 5 years now, going towards 6. So it was a good donation, but unfortunately, we're going to have to change and move up because when we ran the test on them that Microsoft, lets you go online to do, is that, yeah, your computers can't go up to Windows 11. So in order to get up to Windows 11 in October, I think October the 14th, they stopped supporting it, which doesn't mean it's going to die right then. I try and tell people it's not, your computer's not going to go blank. You just won't be able to get any new security updates and no support. You won't be getting updates on it. So what you've got on Windows 10 is going to be what you got. But if you've got your security, what do I want to say, like different blocking mechanism or firewalls and all those security things on your computer by third parties, they're still going to work. It's just that they're phasing it out. They're not going to work forever. But the fact that you won't be just out there with nothing, Microsoft stopped supporting it. But if you bought Norton or McAfee or one of the other virus protection programs, it's still going to work on your computer. It may not work for much longer, and you need to check with them on their websites to make sure that your computer is still protected. Because I tell you, if you get hacked, it's a hassle. You lose a lot of hours and time and a little bit of sleep while you're fighting with trying to get, computers back online to see how much damage was done and, what all you've got to do to get things back together, because we've had to do a lot. I'm going to turn off this slideshow right now. So I want to thank you for joining. In these last 3 minutes before I get out of here at 5:30, I'm going to go back and do a replay of the UNN news so that you get a double dose of that. For those of you that joined late, this is the Urban Network News that is always broadcast on KUAW Radio. It's part of a package that we get, and they give it to us absolutely for free, and we try to support them and any company that they advertise that is supporting getting this broadcast out. So check it out. If you hear a product or you hear an advertisement, support those people that are supporting us in this program and keeping this form of communications alive and keeping us on the air. So we'll get back with you again next week. We're so glad that you were able to join us, and be sure and tune in again for BFTAA and more. And now let's go to the UNN news.
This is UNN Urban Network News, national news and information for and about people of color. I'm Alexander Caden. Multiple historically black colleges and universities were on lockdown last week after receiving potential threats, including Alabama State, Virginia State, Hampton University, Southern, also Clark Atlanta University in Georgia. Spelman College, located near Clark Atlanta University, also implemented shelter-in-place protocols as a precautionary measure due to its proximity. Lisa Cook, the first and only black woman who was the Federal Reserve governor, turned over her bank records, and the bank documents appeared to contradict the Trump administration's mortgage fraud allegations against her. A modern-day fight for voting rights is escalating in states across the country as Republican-led efforts to redraw congressional maps target black and Latino voters to maintain President Trump's control of Congress in 2027. If successful, several black members of Congress could lose their seats in the process. Memphis, Tennessee has made the list of cities that the president has announced he's sending the National Guard to. A 22-year-old Utah man is in custody in the shooting of conservative advocate Charlie Kirk at Utah Valley University, and officials cleared a building at the U.S. Naval Academy in Maryland following reports of threats and one person being injured. The Brazilian Supreme Court panel sentenced a far-right former president to more than 27 years in prison for plotting to kill the Brazilian president. You've been listening to UNN Urban Network News, national news and information for and about people of color.
All right, that was UNN News. Thank you for listening. We are so glad that you joined us, and we hope to see you again next Monday at 5 p.m. for the BFTAA and more show. Thank you, and thank you.